Hello everyone. I want to talk to you about something very important. What you constantly give your attention is constantly creating the experience you have in your life, even right now. Attention is the act of placing all of one's awareness or focus in one thing in an environment where you have so many other things that you should have or could have focused upon. For instance, if you're watching me right now, listening to my voice and seeing me, that means you're focused on this video. But once you are distracted and you begin to look elsewhere and look up and down, you're no longer seeing this video. In other words, you could be hearing my voice, but you're not paying attention. Because you're not paying attention, you're not getting the essence of what I'm talking about. Why? Because you've been distracted. You cannot focus on two things at the same time. If it's focus, it means that all your energy and all your attention is directed towards one place. Now, anything that you're focusing upon is what you're going to experience. Experience refers to the interaction that your body or your physical senses has with the components of your environment. So back to the example of this video. Because you're focusing on me, you can see me. Sight is your physical sense. You can hear my voice, which is also another physical sense. You're making use of your two senses to get the information in this video. But you have three other senses: the sense of touch, your sense of smell, and your sense of taste. When any of your senses or all of your senses comes in contact with anything in your environment, the result is an experience. Does that make sense? So whatever you're paying attention to via the use of your senses is going to result in an experience. Now, this is very, very typical, and this is what is happening in our lives today. When your attention is locked on something, that is the only thing you're going to experience, even though there are so many other things in the same environment. But as far as that moment that you're paying attention to that thing is concerned, it's almost as if those other things in the same environment does not exist. Now, let's break this down with a real life situation. Let's say you've had a disappointment in your life, one that hurts you so much. Now, because of the hurt that you feel, you begin to talk about it. You begin to make Facebook posts about it. You begin to read blogs about it. You begin to discuss it with people. You begin to always think about it. You begin to relive the moment of your disappointments in your mind. You begin to feel very bad about it every time. Now, you begin to notice something natural begins to happen. You start to notice people who are in your shoes, people who are like that. You begin to run into Facebook posts about that subject, Instagram posts, pictures, videos, books that are talking about that thing. It looks as if you begin to recognize that particular subject everywhere you go. Why? Because you have always been talking about it. You have always been feeling about it. You have always been thinking about it. So over time, you've built some kind of strength that you will begin to recognize such things, such people, such opportunities in your environment. Where people will not see the possibility or the chance of disappointment, you will see the chance of disappointment there. You begin to notice people who have the same story to tell, because you have developed that kind of recognition power. Because you have always been talking about, so you've built that sensitivity. Whatever you have been paying attention to, you'll be more sensitive about. And because you're more sensitive about it, you will see the opportunities to talk about it everywhere. You'll notice people like that. You run into them. You run into chances like that. And most sadly, you're going to face more disappointments because you can't trust anyone. You can't trust situations because you're supplying your present and your present time and your future time from the memory of your past. And since the memory of your past is disappointment, you're going to see disappointment everywhere. You will notice it because you're now sensitive to that. Let me give you a perfect example. Let's say you bought a new car. This is going to be relatable to everyone. You bought a new car, let's say a red Porsche. Now, the day you bought that Porsche, from that day, you begin to see red Porsches all over the place. How many of you relate to that? The question is this: did those people buy their red Porsches the same day you bought yours? The answer is no. Red Porsches have been all over the town, even very, very close to you. But because you don't have one, there is nothing in your mind that's going to connect you or make you recognize, because the brain works with what is called pattern recognition. So because you don't have any information in your mind that can make you recognize a Porsche when you see one, your brain is not going to filter into your awareness that, because you don't have one. But now that you've bought a red Porsche, it's there parked in your garage, you are seeing it, you've driven one, you've known everything about a red Porsche. Don't you think it makes sense that it's going to be very easy for you to see a Porsche out there? And that's the reason why it happens with your smartphone, with your car, with your houses. Why? Because now that you have that awareness, you are seeing it every day, so you can now recognize it when you see one. This is exactly what happens when we have negative or even positive experiences. Whatever has your attention, you're going to be more sensitive to, and whatever you're more sensitive to, you're going to recognize everywhere. Now, let's use a more positive example. Let's say you are a successful person. You've always remembered yourself to be successful. You have never failed in anything. Everything you do works out well. You are always a go-getter. Because this is who you are and this is how you remember yourself to be, it makes sense now that you are always going to be drawn to success stories, more successful people, more positive people. Because there is nothing in your mind that is going to remind you or that's going to push you into thinking about that something is not going to work out, because you have not experienced such in your life. Even if you've had little of it, but you've had more successes in your life than you've had failures in your life. You're going to always remember the successful part of your life, and that is also going to draw you to more successful people. You're going to see successful people. You're going to see successful Facebook posts, videos, and if you're going to be meeting successful people and successful posts, successful blogs, reading successful books, it's going to increase your chances of also maintaining your successful status in life. Isn't that amazing? And this is what attention does. Whatever experience you've chosen to give your attention to is what you're going to see more of in your life. It's a law. So you can use this law to your advantage. Even if you have experienced negative things in life, refuse to focus on the bad things you've experienced in life. Just refuse to focus on it. Now, it's work. It's not easy to have a focus. It's really difficult, but it takes training. But if you can focus on what you want to experience instead of what you have experienced, if you've had negative experiences, now that is the key. And I've already hinted on how you can focus. I'll make another video about that and focus on that. But I just said that if you keep talking about something, if you keep thinking about something, if you keep reading posts about it, if you keep reading books about the very thing that you experienced that you don't want to experience, that is your attention. You are giving it your attention. You're giving it power. You're giving it momentum. You're giving it power over your life. You're going to keep seeing it both in your life and in other people's lives. Okay, I hope this makes sense to you. So begin to think about the things that you want to experience, and not what you have already experienced. If you've had negative experiences, even if you've had positive experiences, well, you cannot continue having the same positive experiences. Insanity, they say, is doing the same things and expecting different results. So even if your story is good, you can push up the ladder and get better results. There's always better. Even your best can be bested. Permit me to use that word. So I urge you to begin to think about the things that you want to experience in life, especially if you've had negative experiences in your life. Think more about the positive ones. Forget about where you are now. If you are not in the place you want to be, stop thinking about where you are now. Think about where you want to be. Change how you look at things. If you change how you look at things, the things you look at change. Stop talking about where you are now. Start to talk about where you want to go. Stop talking about the bad people in your life now. Start talking about the kind of people you want to be in your life. This applies to everything, Stop talking about those bad things that have happened. Talk about the good things that you want to happen. And as you begin to pay attention to those things, then your sensitivity towards those good things you want to happen, even though they have not happened yet, will begin to increase. You'll become more sensitive to those things. And the next thing that happens, naturally, you begin to notice the same stories that has not started happening in your life yet, but you begin to see them in other people's lives. And if you continue paying attention to that, opportunities will begin to pop up. It will carry over into your own life. Definitely. It is illogical for it not to be so. It has to be so. It is law. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it and also leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.